Hi there, that's right, Nick Dutch back on the camera yet again. How the hell's it going? Doing a tarot reading today, using the Book of Thoth one more time. Now, we've got this one particular YouTube user who's decided to give me an inquiry. And there's a few questions there, some of which are quite interesting. This YouTube user is called the Writer Woman, and she wants to know first and foremost whether her current landlord can be trusted. We seem to be getting an awful lot of property questions at this particular time of year for some reason, but let's have a quick look and just see what kind of things are coming through. As is traditional, still just giving the cards yet another quick shuffle so that it's all nice and random. Often when I'm talking to you, okay, I'm giving the cards a nice thorough shuffle to make sure we got real good randomness. Only to a certain degree. There's no signs of impropriety here, there's no signs of dodgy dealing, there's no sense of this person deliberately trying to shaft you, but we are talking about a person who's basically in business, aren't we? Alright, so he's going to do an awful lot of things for his own benefit, not necessarily for yours. So in this particular case, I would essentially be wary. You don't have to be too pessimistic, but you do need to be wary, and you do need to keep some control here, okay? Because you're the one who's basically in control of your life here, and you're the one who's in control of how you interact with him in the long term. So realistically, do I think that you've got anything to worry about here? I would say you've got things to keep on top of under these circumstances. It still is not looking like a bad reading. There's a sense of you being very much in control and getting more control with the passage of time. I feel he's trying to present himself to be someone who is strong, meticulous, perfect, authoritative, someone who's always in charge, and that's essentially where there's a bit of a problem. He's used to people kind of like giving in to him, and you don't want to do that, and that's essentially where we've got that teeny bit of conflict there. Just think carefully about how you interact. You've got to have your rights, but there's also a bit of give and take here, okay? So bear that in mind. I mean, the longer term future is still showing signs of adjustment, balance maybe, possibly balance. There's no real sense of failure here, and we do have a sense of a general state of happiness and well-being surrounding where you are at the moment. So essentially, does it feel too bad? Not totally, but obviously be strong here. Now, you've also asked what you should do for a career. So let's just have a quick look and see what the reading says. Bear with me a second, please. Okay, well, the strong sense I'm getting here is still about long-term happiness. But because we've got a sense of a change of perception in the moon card there, a sense of trying to use your creativity, it almost feels like you've had probably 2 or possibly even 3 career paths. I don't know, have you been keeping like one going at the same time as another, and one of them you had your heart set on but it's not quite working out according to plan, and the other one you didn't have your heart set on but was like a needs must thing, and you're not totally happy with that either. I mean, it feels almost to me as if you're being pulled apart. I mean, you've tried to be cautious and wise, but now there's a sense of there being a bit of stress about you, okay? I don't think you're doing what's wrong. I think you're doing what's right, because you're trying to fulfill your needs. But I think it's a question of working out what you enjoy about what you do, and also trying to adjust what you do more on the self-employed things to cover things that fascinate you. Doesn't mean to say you'll enjoy your work anymore, but what it does mean is that you'll be able to do it with more enthusiasm, so you can become more successful longer term. I mean, there must be a reason why we've got, I always say that phrase, don't I, there must be a reason why. Well, there must be a reason why we've got happiness in the future. Alright, and if the creativity sign's around about your mid-term future, that's suggesting a time of change. Remember that sign of caution and prudence and a sense of disquiet within you. That's all short-term and that's all immediate. My impression would be that you've got to contemplate how you carry on doing what you're doing, but doing it in a slightly different way, maybe slightly different markets or slightly different positions, in order to try and get what you need long-term. I mean, you're giving off plenty of signs of success because you are a person who is intelligent, you are a person who is thoughtful, and you've got guts, you've got this desire to be able to do something of a almost self-employed nature. That's the way it feels to me. I don't think you've got much to worry about apart from how you get there. That's the issue, alright? So think more along those lines, and then you're going to come across the right way of living your life, okay? Now, you've also asked about whether your house was haunted. Now, I am associated or affiliated to, in a kind of a very loose and informal way, with a ghost hunting troupe. I'm not sure, I might try and find their website and shove it in the sidebar. But yes, I have been on a few ghost hunts, and yes, we've done a few interesting diagnoses. We'll just have a quick look to see whether there is any sense of there being something spiritual in your house, and I'd expect there to be some spiritual signs appearing in the reading. If I was to use the tarot purely to answer this question, I would say there is not a conscious haunting in your property. There is no sense of there being an individual who sat on his chair and walks about the house and is basically a conscious entity, a conscious ghost. Not at all. But we've got some rather, I would say, dark energies there, and a sense of there being a need for some variety of release, or maybe some variety of mischievous feeling in the environment. I don't know whether sometimes when it's night it feels like some parts of the room are darker than others, despite the fact that the light is uniform in the room, alright? Or whether there's some parts of the room which somehow feel quieter despite the fact that they shouldn't be, as if that there is a feeling of a presence there. That would make sense with something called a residual haunting, alright? And the idea of a residual haunting is that there's some kind of energy or consciousness left over from human activity from a bit of time in the past. However, we can't really say too much about that apart from the fact that there's some strange things happening. So, should you be alarmed or concerned? I don't think so. Should you be aware that there is something there? Well, maybe. Sometimes to dispel dark energy, all you can do is, use sage incense, or maybe burn a candle once a week and say a few prayers, and essentially that will help to bring light into the dark area. Alright, just a few suggestions for you. Okay, again, as is traditional, if you haven't requested this reading but you'd like to have one, do send me a private message through YouTube and I'll be happy to add you to the rota, and we'll see where we can go from there, okay? Alright. Now, good fortune, God and or Goddess and or none of the above bless. I've really enjoyed doing this reading for you today, and if you need me again, you know where I am. There's links in the sidebar, and we'll speak again soon.